Lyra was not like other aliens in the Star Empire. She was a princess, born into a powerful family that ruled one of the largest clans. Her skin had a soft glow of pale blue, and her eyes shone like stars in the dark. She was strong, smart, and kind, but she felt trapped. The palace where she lived was full of rules and secrets. Lyra's life was about to change. The Emperor had arranged her marriage to a lord from a rival clan. This was supposed to bring peace between the two clans, but Lyra was not sure. The lord she was to marry, called Xerath, was known to be cruel and ruthless. Many feared him, and some whispered that he would do anything to gain more power even if it meant hurting those close to him. The day Lyra arrived at Xerath's palace, she felt cold inside. The halls were tall and empty, the air thick with silence. She was led to her chamber, a large room with dark walls and few windows. It was beautiful, but felt like a cage. As the door closed behind her, she knew something was wrong. Outside her chamber, a figure waited. He was a human named Jox. Assigned to protect Lyra, humans were rare in this part of the galaxy. Many aliens thought they were weak and strange, but Jox was different. He was tall, with sharp eyes and steady hands. He had watched Lyra from afar and seen the danger around her. Jack stepped into the chamber quietly. "Princess Lyra," he said, in a low voice, "you should not stay here." Lyra looked at him, surprised. "Why? This is my chamber now." Jock shook his head. "Your husband plans to kill you?" Lyra's heart stopped. She stared at Jox. "What? That cannot be true." Jox moved closer. "I have seen the plans. Xerath wants to take your life to stop your family from gaining more power, he believes. You are a threat." Lyra wanted to believe it was a lie, but deep down she knew. She had seen Xerath's cold look, his harsh words. She had heard whispers from the servants. No one trusted him, but no one dared to speak out. "What can I do?" Lyra asked. "I am trapped here." Jox looked serious. "You are not alone. I will help you, but you must trust me." Lyra thought about it. Humans were different from her people, but Jox's eyes showed honesty. She nodded slowly. "Good," Jox said. "First you must avoid being alone. Never. Enter your chamber alone again. I will stay near you and watch for danger." The next days were tense. Lyra stayed close to Jox as much as she could. Xerath never spoke to her kindly. He watched her with cold eyes, always calculating. Lyra learned to be quiet and careful. One night, Lyra stood by a window looking at the stars. She felt small in the huge palace. But Jox stood beside her, strong and steady. "Humans face danger too," Jox said softly. "We have been hunted and attacked, but we fight back. You can be strong like that." Lyra looked at him. "I want to believe that. But what if no one helps me? What if I am alone?" Jox smiled slightly. "You are not alone anymore. We'll protect you no matter what." As days passed, Lyra began to trust Jox more. She saw that humans had courage and kindness. She shared stories of her people's past, their struggles and hopes. Jox listened carefully and told her about human history, the wars, or the victories, and the times they stood for what was right. One afternoon, a servant whispered a warning to Lyra. Xerath was planning something terrible for the next night. Would try to hurt her when no one was watching. Lyra's heart pounded. She told Jox immediately. He nodded and began to prepare. "We must be ready," he said. "You will not face this alone." That night, Lyra stayed awake with Jox. Every sound made her jump, but Jox kept calm and alert. Hours passed slowly. Then, in the quiet, a shadow moved near the chamber door. Xerath's guard was coming. Jox moved quickly. He whispered, "Stay close to me." Together, they hid in a secret passage Jox had found earlier. The guard searched the chamber, but found no one. Xerath's plan had failed for now. Lyra felt a mix of fear and relief. She looked at Jox. "Thank you. You saved my life." Jox shook his head. "This is only the beginning. The danger is not over." Lyra knew he was right. She could not stay hidden forever. She had to find a way to stop Xerath and protect her people. "What do we do now?" she asked. Jax smiled with hope. We plan, we find allies, and we fight back. Lyra took a deep breath. For the first time, she felt a spark of hope. She was not just a princess trapped in a palace. She was a leader, ready to stand strong. Together, Lyra and Jax began to prepare for the challenges ahead. The fate of the clans and, maybe the galaxy, would soon depend on their courage. After escaping Zareth's guard, Lyra and Jax knew they had little time. Zareth's palace was full of spies and enemies ready to capture them. They needed a plan to stay safe and stop Zareth's deadly scheme. Lyra sat in a quiet room hidden. Deep inside the palace, she looked tired, but her eyes burned with determination. Jax stood beside her, studying a star map that showed nearby planets and clans. They needed help, but trust was rare in the galaxy. Our people have been enemies for too long, Lyra said quietly. If we want to survive, we must find friends.
Allies.
Who will stand with us? Jax nodded. Humans know how to build alliances. Even with those who seem different, we must be smart. Start small. Find those who want peace. Lyra thought about the clans. Some were loyal to Zareth, but others disliked his harsh rule. If they could reach out secretly, maybe they could gather support. I will send messages to my family and old friends, Lyra said. They must know the truth. Jax smiled. Good, I will help. Humans have ways to send messages quickly and secretly. The two worked through the night, planning their moves. Jax taught Lyra how to use human technologies, small devices that could send coded signals. Lyra was a fast learner, and she felt hope growing inside her. Next day, Lyra sent a hidden message to her family, telling them about Zareth's plan and her escape. She hoped they would believe her and send help soon. While waiting, Jax trained Lyra in self-defense. Though she was royal and not a warrior, she needed to protect herself. Jax showed her simple but effective moves that used her agility and strength. You are stronger than you know, Jax said. With practice, you can fight back. Lyra smiled. Thank you. I want to be ready. Days passed slowly. Lyra and Jax moved carefully through the palace, avoiding guards and cameras. Trust was difficult. Many people watched their every step, waiting for a chance to capture the princess. One night, a knock came at their hidden door. Lyra froze. Jax motioned for silence and opened the door a little. A man stepped inside.
Right.
He was an alien with dark skin and sharp eyes. Lyra did not recognize him. I am Dakar, the man said softly. I am here to help. Lyra looked at Jax. Can we trust him? Jax nodded slowly. Dakar is from a clan that hates Zareth. If he says he wants peace, we must listen. Dakar explained that many clans feared Zareth's growing power. He had made enemies who wanted to stop him, but lacked a leader brave enough to stand. Your escape gives hope, Dakar said. We can unite if we trust each other. Lyra felt a new strength. With Dakar and Jax, she was not alone. Together, they could change the future. Over the next days, Dakar helped them contact other clans secretly. Messages flew across the galaxy, calling for peace and alliance. Some clans responded with support, others with suspicion. Lyra understood trust was fragile but worth fighting for. Meanwhile, Zareth grew angry. He sent more guards to find Lyra and stop the rebels. The palace became dangerous. Each step outside their hiding felt like a risk. Jax stayed close to Lyra, protecting her with skill and care. He admired her courage and growing leadership. You have changed, Jax told her. One evening, from a frightened princess to a true leader, Lyra smiled, but her eyes showed worry. There is still much to do. Zareth will not give up. One day, Lyra received a secret message from her brother, a strong warrior in their clan. Are coming, the message said. Hold on. Hope filled Lyra's heart. Her family believed her and help was near. With their small group growing, Lyra and Jax prepared to face the coming storm. They trained harder, planned carefully, and never lost faith in the quiet moments. Jax shared stories of human battles and victories. Lyra learned how humans fought not just with weapons but with courage, hope, and trust. These stories give me strength, Lyra said. We will need all of it. The night before the planned attack on Zirath, Lyra looked at the stars. She thought of the galaxy, so big and full of dangers, but also full of chances for peace. Jack stood beside her. Whatever happens, you have already changed the course of history. Lyra nodded. I will fight for my people, and for a future where we are not enemies. Together, they waited for dawn. The battle for the clans in the galaxy was about to begin. The morning light slipped through the tall palace windows as Lyra and Jox prepared for the hardest day of their lives. Their small group of allies was ready to face Zirath's forces and stop his cruel plans once and for all. Lyra felt a mix of fear and determination. She was no longer just a princess hiding in shadows. She was a leader with a mission. Jox stood beside her, calm and steady, ready to fight for her and their future. As the sun rose, Dakar and the other allies moved quietly through secret passages, gathering support from those who had been waiting for a sign of hope. Their plan was simple, but dangerous. Take control of key points in the palace and stop Zirath before he could act. The first clash came quickly. Zirath's guards were fierce and well-trained, but they were surprised by the sudden attack. Lyra, Jox and Dakar fought side by side, their skills and courage pushing back the enemy. Lyra surprised many with her bravery. She moved with speed and grace, dodging attacks and helping her friends. Though not a soldier, her heart was strong. She fought for her people's freedom. In the heat of battle, Lyra faced Zirath for the first time since her warning. He stood tall, his eyes cold and filled with anger. You cannot stop me, Zirath sneered. You are weak, and your friends are fools. Lyra met his gaze. Strength is not only power, she said firmly. It is courage, hope, and unity. You have lost that. Zirath growled and lunged toward her, but Jox stepped forward, blocking the attack with skill and strength. The fight became chaotic as more guards joined. The palace echoed with the sounds of clashing weapons and shouting. Lyra's small army fought hard, but Zirath's forces were many. It seemed the battle could go either way. Then, a loud shout came from the hall. Lyra's brother and his warriors arrived with fresh troops. Their presence lifted the spirits of Lyra's group. Turning the tide of the fight together, they pushed Zirath's guards back. Forcing them to retreat into the deeper parts of the palace, Ixarat, furious, disappeared into his chambers, leaving the battle behind for now. After the fight, Lyra and Jox gathered with their allies. Many were injured, but their hope was stronger than ever. This is only the beginning, Lyra said. Zirath will come back with more force. We must be ready. Jox nodded. We will fight no matter what. In the quiet moments that followed, Lyra thought about her journey. From a scared princess warned by a human guard, she had become a leader who inspired others. She saw how humans like Jox used not just weapons, but trust and friendship to survive. Days passed with tense waiting. Zirath's power was not broken, and he planned new attacks. Lyra and her allies used this time to train and strengthen their bonds. They shared stories, laughed, and planned a future free from fear. One evening, Jox showed Lyra a human tradition, telling stories by firelight to keep spirits high. Stories help us remember who we are, Jox said. They remind us of hope, Lyra smiled. I want to remember this moment, the start of something new. Then news came that Zirath had called for reinforcements from his loyal clans far away. The final battle was coming. Lyra's heart pounded. She knew this fight would decide the fate of her people and the galaxy's future. Together with Jox, Dakar, and the warriors, she prepared for the fight with courage and hope. No matter what happens, Lyra said, we stand as one. As the stars shone outside, the palace held its breath. The battle for freedom was about to reach its peak. The palace was quiet, but the air was thick with tension. Lyra stood on a balcony looking out at the stars. Her heart was heavy. Zirath's reinforcements would arrive soon. The next battle could change everything. Jax approached her quietly. We have little time, he said. We must prepare. Lyra nodded. I feel the weight of my people's hopes on my shoulders. I will not fail. They returned inside to meet their allies. Docker was there, talking with the other leaders. The group was small, but determined. Each member had their own reasons to fight, some for freedom, others for honor. We need a plan that uses both strength and wisdom, Dakar said. Xerath's forces are strong, but not unbeatable, Jox added. Humans have a way to fight that is different. We use teamwork and surprise. Lyra listened carefully. She knew brute force alone would not win this war. She wanted to protect her people with as little bloodshed as possible. Over the next days, they trained hard. Jox taught new tactics that used speed and teamwork. Lyra learned to lead, not just by birth, but by courage and care. At night, Lyra sat with Jox and Daka, discussing the future. They dreamed of a galaxy where clans and humans could live in peace. This war is not just for us, Lyra said. It's for every life that fears violence. Jox smiled. Humans have a saying, strength through unity. It means together we are stronger than alone. Lyra liked that. She wanted to bring unity to her people. Then one night a scout brought urgent news. Xerath's reinforcements were close to more soldiers than before. The battle was coming sooner than expected. The group prepared quickly. Lyra gave a speech to her allies. We fight not just with weapons, but with our hearts. Courage will light the way. The battle began under the stars. Xerath's forces attacked with fierce power. The palace shook with the sound of war, but Lyra and her allies were ready. They used the tactics Jox taught and the strength of their unity. In the middle of the battle, Lyra faced Xerath again. This time she was stronger and braver. Your reign of fear ends today, she said. Exios sneered, but saw the fire in her eyes. He realized Lyra was no longer the frightened princess he tried to control. The fight was long and hard. Many were hurt, but Lyra's side held firm. Finally, Xerath was captured, his power broken by the courage of those he tried to destroy. After the battle, peace began to return. Lyra's family joined hands with humans and other clans. They promised to build a new future. Jack stood beside Lyra, proud of what they had achieved together. You have changed more than just your clan, he said. You have changed the galaxy. Lyra smiled softly. And we will keep fighting for peace, for hope, for all. As dawn broke, the stars faded, but a new light shone. Light of unity and strength, born from courage and trust. After Xerath's defeat, Lyra and Jox knew their work was not finished. The galaxy was full of old wounds and new dangers. Peace was fragile, and many clans still held grudges. Lyra wanted to build a future where humans and aliens could live. Without fear, Lyra stood before a gathering of clan leaders, humans, and allies. The hall was large, filled with hopeful faces and cautious eyes. Lyra felt the weight of their trust and the chance to change history. We have won the battle. But the war for peace continues, Lyra said clearly. We must learn to understand each other and work together. Our strength comes from unity. Jock stood beside her, proud. He added, humans have learned that respect and cooperation build stronger worlds. Together, we can make the galaxy safer. The leaders listened. Some were hesitant, still holding old fears. Others nodded, ready to try something new. Lyra knew. Words were not enough. She needed action. She invited clans to share stories and traditions. Through sharing, they found common ground. In the days that followed, Lyra and Jox traveled between worlds. They helped resolve disputes and brought clans. Together, each visit built trust and hope. Lyra learned much from humans and aliens alike. She saw how different cultures could teach each other and grow stronger. One day, a young alien child approached Lyra. Will there be peace forever? The child asked. Lyra smiled warmly. Peace takes work and care, but I believe it is possible, if we all try. Jox watched Lyra with admiration. She had grown into a true leader, not just by birth, but by heart. Together, they faced new challenges, old enemies who still sought power, natural disasters, and misunderstandings between clans. But with every challenge, Lyra and Jox showed the power of unity. One evening, stars twinkled above. Lyra and Jox sat together. We have come far, Lyra said softly. But the journey continues. Jocks nodded, and we will walk it together.
Air.
Story was no longer just about a princess and a guard. It was about hope, courage, and a future where all beings could live in peace. The galaxy was vast and full of mysteries. But with unity and trust, Lyra knew they could face whatever came next. The galaxy had changed. The cruel days of Xerath's rule were over, but Lyra knew the road ahead was still full of challenges. Peace was new and fragile, like a small plant growing in rocky soil. It needed care and hope to survive. Lyra sat in her chambers, looking at a star map. The lights of distant worlds blinked softly. Each star was a place where people lived, loved, and dreamed. She thought about how many different lives were connected now by trust and courage. Jax entered quietly. He had been with her through every battle and every step forward. His eyes were calm but full of care. "Do you ever wonder what the future will hold?" Lyra asked. Jax smiled softly. "Yes, but I know we will face it together no matter what." Had built something new, a bond between humans and aliens that was strong and real. Their friendship showed others that differences could be bridges, not walls. Lyra remembered the day Jox first warned her about Xerath's plan. Back then, she was scared and alone. Now, she was a leader with many allies. Her people looked to her for hope and guidance. But peace was not just about no war. It was about healing old wounds. Lyra traveled from world to world, meeting leaders, families, and children. She listened to their stories and shared her own. One day she visited a small village where humans and aliens lived side by side. Children played together, their laughter filling the air. Lyra smiled, seeing the future she dreamed of. "This is why we fight," she told Jox. "For moments like these?" Jox nodded. "Hope grows in hearts like theirs." But not everyone agreed. With peace, some still held anger and fear. Lyra faced those challenges with patience and kindness. She spoke with those who doubted, offering friendship instead of war. Her strength inspired many. Old enemies became partners. New friendships formed across stars. One evening, under a sky full of stars, Lyra and Jox stood side by side. The galaxy was quiet, but their hearts were full of promise. "Our journey never ends," Lyra said. Jax smiled. "And that is what makes it worth living." Their story was one of courage, trust, and the power of unity. It was a story told for generations, a reminder that even in the darkest times, hope can shine the brightest. As they looked at the stars, they knew the future was bright. Together they would protect the peace they fought so hard to win.